I honestly think that Orange County gun owners, if we continue to take the right steps and do the right thing, and people continue to join us and do the things it takes to be successful, that we're going to be the most powerful, influential, well-funded political organization in Orange County, and that nobody is going to get elected in Orange County without going through us.
Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning.
Orange County Gun Show. We're back. This is good stuff. So we kind of spent some time today here just chatting about a little bit about the gun owners pack, what it all is, and we talk about some of our community outreach here in just a couple minutes. We'll talk with Heather. But first off, I want to kind of introduce you to Michael Schwartz. Mike's been around with the San Diego gun owners for 6.5 years. Yeah. Kind of give us a little bit of an idea, Mike, as to just the genesis. What brought you to this thing? And if it wasn't for what you started here, we wouldn't be sitting here at the gun show today. Kind of give us the background, what you're doing.
Sure. So I was doing a bunch of Second Amendment advocacy, volunteer work, myself and a lot of people. It wasn't just me. It was a group of people. Mm-hmm. And, we were doing a lot of things right. We were making some mistakes and learning from it. And every mistake, we decided, hey, we have to fix this. We have to be more organized. We have to be better funded. We have to have more people involved.
People and money, right?
People and money.
Yeah.
You have two tools in politics. You have people and money, and that's it. Mm-hmm. The best ideas, won't get implemented unless you have enough people and money. The worst ideas will if they have enough people and money. So we put together a plan. The first thing we did is we identified what's the problem. It's an aggressive move, both politically and commercially on the state and local level, to take away our gun rights, so that we can't use a gun, you can't own a gun, or at least makes it harder. So what do? How do we solve that problem? And we decided that a local organization that focuses on getting people elected in these local boards and councils was at least a big part of the solution. Maybe not the only solution. There's
keeping it local and keeping municipalities, and that's kind of where you were focusing on. Is that kind of
right? City council. We looked at, there's a lot of people filing lawsuits. A lot of people working at the state level and the federal level when it comes to the Second Amendment. But the people who serve in Sacramento and Washington, D.C., they start out somewhere. It's very rare that your first day on the job is in Congress or in the state Senate.
God forbid that continues to happen, huh?
Yeah. So where do they come from? Well, they come from city councils, they come from school boards, and it's a lot easier to influence an election at the local level. So we decided, hey, we're going to get organized. We're going to talk to the media. We're not going to ignore the media. We want to tell our side of the story. That means print, TV, and radio. We're going to make sure that people are involved, that they're donating their time and they're donating their dollar, their dime and their time.
Dime and time.
Yeah. So
we need to get that on a T-shirt, I think.
Yeah.
Dime and time.
Dime or time, one or the other, or both.
Or both. Excellent. So how long has this been going on then for you? You started this thing out of just an interest in driving from the municipalities forward. 6 years, I think, is what you shared with me.
Yeah, we started.
Go back a little bit.
We started at the end of 2015. I actually walked away from my job I was a trust officer at a bank, and I walked away. Yeah, I walked. It wasn't hard to walk away from that. It was actually a really good job, and I was really good at it, and it was a risk walking away. But we started San Diego County Gun Owners the end of 2015, and had our first Second Amendment celebration dinner in 2016. Mm-hmm. A few hundred people, and we haven't looked back since.
A few hundred people within 2 years.
Well, the first year, our membership, we signed up almost 400 people in our first year.
Moses.
Yeah.
What was the driving factor for folks? I mean, you're having conversations all over the place. What really resonated then? I mean, for that many people in 1 year is an incredible rise.
It is. I think about this a lot.
Good.
There's one word that resonated. Mm-hmm. Hope. I heard that over and over and over. I'd tell them the plan. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to endorse candidates. We're going to raise money and volunteers, help them get elected. And they all, okay, sounds like a good idea, but you know what's important about this? It gives me hope. We're in a state where the gun laws are extremely restrictive. People have given up. A lot of people are leaving or just stopped being engaged. And the activities that we're doing are effective and they make sense, and that gives people hope that, hey, I think something good's going to happen, so I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to be a member for a year. I'm going to come to a couple of meetings, and that gives them hope. And that's extremely powerful.
So landing on that, you know, when we start thinking about some of the laws that have been passed over the dozens of years that are here, and we've got that hope going on, we're talking to some of the local municipalities and grassroots organizations and all. That's a big ball to push uphill, one of the reasons why I'm here. However, do you see that hope is growing? Do you see some of that groundswell is coming back? And how do some of the candidates that you vet and have vetted over the years really kind of have that impact for the local constituents, and where are they taking this thing? That's what I really
Sure. So the vetting process is really pretty thorough. It's not just a survey. We don't just send out a survey and then judge them on their answers on a piece of paper. We meet with them. We meet with them multiple times. We meet with their staff if they have staff, their consultants if they have consultants. We want to know, are they taking the steps to be successful that will make us comfortable in endorsing them? So a lot of people are pro Second Amendment. 100%. And that's paramount. That's the first thing we ask. And we get very thorough. You know, well, where do you stand on the assault weapon ban, quote unquote? Where do
define
you stand?
assault weapon.
Right. Define. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
where do you stand on CCWs?
Right.
And we really dig down deep, but we don't just stop there. We want to make sure that they're viable. Are they taking the steps to be successful, like raising money, organizing volunteers, that sort of thing? Are there any character issues? So even if they're very pro Second Amendment, and even if they're very organized and have a staff and have volunteers, are there things in their past that we don't want to be associated with? You know, have there been some character flaws? And then the fourth thing is, are they effective? You know, do they just talk about it, or do they actually do
something about it?
And what can they point to? What have you actually done to show that you're going to be an effective person? The worst thing is working really hard and helping someone get into office, and then they don't help us. And we have a lot of examples.
We know that.
A lot of examples of the opposite. We have a lot of examples of helping someone get into office, and then circling back with them after they're elected and saying, hey, we need you to pass this resolution, or we need you to make this statement, or we need you to write this op-ed. And that's how our biggest accomplishment down in San Diego is that you can now get a CCW, you can get a carry concealed weapon permit in San Diego for the first time in decades.
You know how I know that's really effective? Because the sun is rising on you right now.
Exactly.
As the sun rises. You know, a couple of things you and I have talked about in the past, Michael, I kind of want to land here also is, we're kind of an independent organization, PAC, right? And we don't look at an R, we don't look at a D as far as a person's political affiliation. Kind of talk a little bit about some of the consternation you've had in some of the candidates that may have been supported, or some of those that the R's may have wanted us to support, whatever the case is. How has that been? That's an interesting conversation to have.
It comes up a lot. People, you know, Republicans aren't perfect on the Second Amendment. Democrats aren't all bad on the Second Amendment, but it's you know, it's very obvious that the Republicans in general have been our friends more often than Democrats have. But we can't just elect Republicans, especially in California. And endorsing a strong Second Amendment Democrat makes Republicans more Republican. If they say, hey, if they take the gun vote for granted, they're not going to do anything for you.
Right.
And if the Democrats see that, hey, if I behave on Second Amendment issues, I'll get support, that's going to make them more likely to, you know, open up and say, all right, let's see what we can do. But it's very hard for people to understand that sometimes. But if people think, hey, we should only elect Republicans, the Republican Party exists, you can do all your advocacy through them, but if you want to make a difference on the Second Amendment, then you want those parties fighting over the gun vote. And how do you do that? People and money.
People and money.
But if Democrats know, if Democrats know that there's never going to be an opportunity for me to reach out to the gun community and have them support me, why would they ever? You know, if Republicans know that no matter what, they're going to get the gun owner vote, why would they earn it? Why would they work for it?
I think it's a fascinating conversation to have, because when we start talking about the municipalities and the local kind of politics, there's really not focused on an R or D anyway. It's common sense stuff. You know, we're just red-blooded Americans that have a certain unalienable rights. And when those things get taken away from us and we have those conversations with people, we land on the Second Amendment, and that is the genesis from where I take and what we've talked about before of everything else flows from there, right? So the folks that do have that penchant to lean that way, I don't think conversations at this level and in this kind of an endorsement really has that R&D concern around it. It's common sense things.
Well, and the Republicans have messed up a lot.
A lot.
They've done things that were bad, and they've not done things when they had the opportunity to make things better. So it's not like...
Do you think it's because the assumed vote was going to be there? Because typically when people think about guns, they think about Republicans, right? They think that that's a traditional Republican-leaning thing.
I don't think it helps. You know, that if they're able to take us for granted, it doesn't help. I describe the Republican Party as the second worst Second Amendment party out there. And I think the more that people take that to, you know, as their attitude, you know, make them earn it. If we're going to go out there and walk neighborhoods for them, and if we're going to donate money and be organized and spend our time, make them earn it.
Make them earn it. I like that. Talk to me about the Orange County gun owners. How did that evolve for you? You're in San Diego for a few years, 400 people out the gate. Here we are in Orange County, the gun show. Talk to us about that. Where are we growing this thing?
Sure. So Orange County is actually Tobin, who's on our board currently. Reached out. He had a friend in San Diego that was talking about San Diego County gun owners, and Tobin called me up and said, "Hey, we want in Orange County what you have in San Diego." So we went and had lunch, and we talked about, you know, what he was looking for. It was always in the plan to, you know, franchise, to have 8 or 10 or so of these organizations throughout the state. So Orange County was already part of the plan. But, you know, we were going to, I think it happened sooner because Tobin expressed interest. So the first thing we did is we got a booth at the gun show in Costa Mesa, and we decided we were going to teach a seminar, one-day seminar on how to be a Second Amendment activist. So we signed a bunch of people up, had the seminar, said, hey, here's how to be an activist, you know, in support of the Second Amendment. I think we had 40 or so people in that class. Had it at a hotel. In one of their banquet rooms. We had 40 people, and it turned out really, really well. And at the end of the seminar, we said, okay, you have all these tools now. You know how to be an activist. You can go do it on your own. You can do it through another organization. Or why don't we start our own organization using the roadmap that San Diego has? And boom, we launched.
Good. And that's been going on how many years?
That was 2017. I think the official launch date was actually 2018. Okay. We did a lot of organizational type stuff in 2017, but I think we actually opened in 2018.
I think we what do we identify the number of the memberships at? 165. Is that what we said the other night?
Something like that.
Yeah. So we're going to grow that.
Big time.
Good.
We're going to grow it big time.
Where do you see us going?
I honestly think that Orange County gun owners, if we continue to take the right steps and do the right thing, and people continue to join us and do the things it takes to be successful, that we're going to be the most powerful, influential, well-funded political organization in Orange County, and that nobody is going to get elected in Orange County without going through us. So we started Orange County Gun Owners. It's been a couple years now, and there are two extremely important people that are in leadership positions in Orange County Gun Owners as volunteers, and they're going to help take us to the next level. First is Steve Mills, the executive director, and Heather Hawk, who's our project manager for Not Me OC. So Heather, how did you find Orange County Gun Owners?
Well, I started getting more involved in firearms about 3 years ago, and with my boyfriend, and as we started going through and learning about the gun laws and everything in California, we started to realize that there was a lot of things to navigate, and so we looked at different groups that were in the area. Also on the political aspect, you know, I'd never seen, you know, such gun laws and everything in place, so we we actually looked into more of the political side of it, and we discovered Orange County Gun Owners, and we started talking to them. I think we saw them at a gun show as well, and talked a little bit about joining the group, and then learned more about what they do, and we decided, you know, we wanted to join, and been in ever since. So.
Nice. Steve, how did you find us originally?
Yeah, it's, you know, you kind of came through it by way of looking at the weapons side of it. I came to it by way of the political side, which was interesting. Last September, as we kind of approached the 2020 elections, My wife and I were asked to come in and support a couple of local volunteers, right? A couple of local candidates, actually, the city of Costa Mesa City Council. So we went to a fundraiser event and met the Orange County gun owners representation that was there at the time, had a quick conversation about things. Segue after the 2020 election, I got a call, said, hey, we had a great conversation about the 2A and your focus on that. It seemed like you're really passionate about weapons and whatnot. My wife and I have been doing weapons handling and training for the last, 6 or 7 years and really enjoying it. And now it came a segue to join an organization like Orange County Gun Owners. So had the awesome opportunity of interviewing with the board and was asked to join the board of Orange County Gun Owners 2-3 months ago, and here we are. So that was my segue in from the political side of it, getting involved, knowing that there was kind of an impossible thing to kind of even acquire a weapon, let alone kind of look at some of the weapons rosters and all that. Try to buy the guns that we really want, we can't, and had an opportunity to get involved from the political side of things to help make those changes, and that's what brought us here.
And talk to people, tell people, what is Not Me OC?
So Not Me OC is a mentorship program that actually started down into in San Diego County gun owners, and it is to help women who are getting into the firearms groups or learning about firearms, just curious about them. It's a way for them to connect with firearm owners that are specifically women, and learn more about it, navigate all the laws, navigate going to the gun range, purchasing firearms, also even if they're interested in CCW. So it's kind of an overall program. It's one-on-one, so one of the main passions about Not Me OC is trying to prevent domestic violence and sexual assault. So we do have some women who are coming in that are, might have some issues or had some negative experiences. So that one-on-one, having that person and mentor to talk to and be able to answer their questions, without an open setting is also very valuable.
It's one-on-one. It's for women by women.
Yes.
It's one-on-one, and it's really amazing. And the ambassadors who help the people that respond, the women that respond, aren't necessarily the trainers. The thing I like about it is that they're helping the women through the process. They're there hand in hand, arm in arm, saying, hey, let me show you how to find the information you need.
Correct. Yes.
How to find the training you need, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yep. So some of them are trainers, but a lot of the ambassadors are just women who have a passion for firearms and want to share that with other women, because it's one of the reasons I actually started and was interested in Not Me OC is, when you go into a gun range or a gun shop as a woman, it can be intimidating. Yeah. If there's not a lot of women there, and that was one thing I noticed, and I wanted to change that and get more women involved in firearms and learn, how to use them as a tool, and increase their toolbox of defense mechanisms and everything. So
yeah, that's awesome. And Steve, as the executive director, your role is an organizational role. You make things happen, you organize, make sure that people have the resources, that sort of thing. How do you see Not Me OC fitting in with the plan for Orange County gun owners?
When we first started talking about this, a month and a half or so ago, July 15th is when we launched this thing, we've seen an amazing uptick in this. And I quite honestly look at it from where kind of Heather was talking about a second ago. There's a certain demographic within our population, the ladies. They've got a penchant to do things for themselves and become a little bit more self-aware and independent and confident in what they're doing. And in today's social unrest, wow, to be a lady, just go to the grocery store. There's so many opportunities for things to go wrong and go south really quick. And for women to be able to step up and start becoming more involved in the gun community is just a small portion of it, small part. And I see that this is going to be for us. And where I would like to see it go, and working with Heather on this thing, is to be a segmentation that's just going to blow Orange County, pardon the pun, but take Orange County gun owners to a whole new level, because ladies have a way of bringing more people to the show, if you will. And what we've seen just within the last month and a half, the numbers of ladies that have really been introduced to this thing, the conversations that we're having, the outreach is just, we're just at the infancy of this thing. So yeah. I'm looking forward to this to being the next big wave of what's going to happen with Orange County gun owners. Yeah,
it kind of says, hey, we're not your grandfather's gun group.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it. No, this is a today thing. It's a whole different level. And where we go is typically driven in today's world by the strength of a very strong-willed woman. It is what it is. So what's the line in that big fat Greek wedding? You know, he might be the head, but I'm the neck, and that's so true.
Exactly.
You know, Danielle, my wife, and I are very involved in what's going on here, and she being an ambassador with this, we see that as just a huge outreach opportunity. It's just another avenue of a conversation. It's not just guys having talks and conversations about guns and the rah-rah thing. Now ladies are leaning in and kind of going, well, what about us? Well, what about us? Let's do it. And when it was introduced as an option for this pack, outstanding. And I see that this is going to be the next big wave for us.
Yeah, it's a program of Orange County gun owners. So everybody who's a part of it is a member of Orange County gun owners. To sign up, you don't have to be a member of Orange County Gun Owners, but the ambassadors and everything, it's a program of Orange County Gun Owners. What's the most exciting part of that for you?
I think the exciting thing is just I love to see, again, women getting more involved. I love to see that connection that they make when they first start talking to us as ambassadors. You know, they're a little nervous or not sure, you know, about guns, or I mean, it's just kind of that stigma that, you know, guns are bad, or that's out in the community. And so letting them know and educating them about firearms, and that, you know, no, it's a tool, and it's something that you can use and have in your toolbox, in your toolkit, and just seeing them kind of light up and understand more about firearms, get involved, realize there's so much more to it than just what they've heard. And so I think for me it's rewarding to see them, and then moving on and even graduating from the program and possibly even becoming ambassadors. We see some of the ladies wanting to do that or saying interest in doing that. So it's growing that community. Just makes me kind of smile and happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
If I could interject there also, one of the things that Heather did recently, and talk to this a little bit, is you attended a Krav Maga training here not too long ago. Just another avenue, because you know, a weapon is just one tool in the toolbox.
Yep.
Having the ability to do things and protect yourselves outside of that, where the brain is the key. You know, just a weapon is just another tool, but having that physical awareness about yourself. Kind of share a little bit about that too. That was a neat experience.
Yeah, and one of the goals of the Not Me program is to help grow that woman's overall defense and understanding it's not just about the firearms, that you need to be aware of your surroundings, learning different other items, because you may not have that firearm with you all the time.
Right.
And so that's one thing we're looking at doing, is reaching out to other programs in the community where women can join. And this one was one of our board members, Evan, actually goes to the Gateway City Krav Maga class up in La Habra, and so they wanted me to come and speak about Not Me OC, and they had a women's defense class that they put on quarterly, and so I went.
You got to do it?
Yes, that's what I was $20. I was doing it, so I went in and took the class, and it was fantastic. They actually, you know, had a nice round robin to learn different types of moves, and then they can put them all together and combine them at the end. Not giving away anything in case anybody wants to go, but it's a fantastic class. So that's something that we want to stress with the women is, you know, there's that overall defense that you need to have, and that self-awareness, and to include that again, you know, is fantastic for the women. So
outside of Not Me OC, which is an awesome, exciting program, what are you excited about when it comes to Orange County gun owners?
I never was involved in politics, never thought I would be, and when firearms ownership kind of jumped me into it, and I really get fired up about all the laws in California. I'm originally from Ohio, and I'd never seen like the gun roster and everything, and so I really like that, you know, there's a local group that's going from the root where all the political groups start and all of the politics starts, and helping grow 2A and getting more people involved. So I really enjoy getting involved with that and helping, again, educating. That's the biggest thing I see is people in politics that are anti-2A, they really, you know, they focus on the negative, and they lack that education of firearms and don't take the time to experience in them. And I think if they would see where it's useful, as opposed to just constantly trying to push them down or get rid of them. So yeah.
Now, as executive director, Steve, what are your goals for the next year?
Community. That's a word I want to land on. And if we can build a community of just like-minded individuals that can help spread the word and be ambassadors for what the 2A is, and take all the politics out of it, right? And that's one of the fun things I've had as far as conversations in being excited about this new role that I've been blessed to kind of take on is being that ambassador. You know, Heather's been talking about that for the Not Me OC, but looking at it from a community perspective, there's a gentleman that's one of my trainers, based out of Phoenix, Arizona. And when he comes to California behind the curtain to do trainings out here, he's very emphatic about the fact that the gun owners community in California is much more tight-knit group of folks and more prolific than there is even in Nevada or Arizona and some of the other states that he trains in. And I want to capitalize on that. And I want to be out there in front of that to help this organization with some amazing guys on the board and gals on the board to just show that we're not a partisan group. This is not a partisan thing. This is about our God-given rights. We're 2, maybe 3 signatures away of losing so much more. And if we're not at the grassroots of that, if we're not building from the grassroots and reigniting our passions about our own civil liberties, we're going to lose it. And we're right there in that bubble. I don't think that there's been a time in my life, in my history, to where we're on such a pivotal place of just losing so much with things that are going on overseas and our political infrastructure and our it's just sad. And Michael, you kind of hit on it a few minutes ago. What's really soft in my heart is the fact that those that are in the state level and the federal level come from the cities. They come from the municipalities. That's where they grow. That's where they get their stuff. And if I can be a part of that, and if I can help an organization and build a community of like-minded folks to where that becomes a sole source of endorsement for those that do want to take on office, we've got an amazing opportunity to grow that beyond belief. And I think we're at that pivotal place in this generation. That's why
the main purpose of Orange County gun owners, of course, to get people elected, especially on the local boards and councils, city councils, school board, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But along the way, you know, there are programs like Not Me OC. There's interacting with media. There are shooting socials where we educate new shooters. That sort of thing. A lot of different avenues that Orange County gun owners touches on. But question for both of you: if someone is a gun owner in Orange County, or they're passionate about the Second Amendment, what would you tell them is the best reason to get involved? What are they going to get out of it?
Well, I think it's camaraderie and community. You're experiencing this is kind of a thing that you would experience together and grow. It's also just your basic constitutional right to protect yourself, and with that fight, you're helping that group and organization keep your rights, because you see that a lot overseas where, you know, those rights are taken away, and it's one thing that you can go together as a community and grow.
I land on that word, community. That's what it's all about. You can sit down and have some conversations just about what you did at the range, and it'll just spark these conversations. You're standing at work and you're at the water cooler or the coffee pot, whatever the case is, and you kind of whisper below your voice, yeah, I kind of went to the range this week, and all of a sudden you got 7 other people that'll come out of the woodwork. Oh my gosh, you're a gun guy. Yeah, I'm a gun girl. And it just opens up an amazing amount of conversation that we shouldn't be shy away from having a conversation about. So I see this as a community thing, and the more open we can be, the more unashamed that this is just something that we do because we should be able to, without all these rules and regulations that are just overarching. It's ridiculous.
One of the nuts and bolts reasons that I talk to people about when it comes to joining is, you know, there's an election every 2 years. And before you know it, you have people running for office and they're asking for a donation, they're asking for support, and we're all busy running our lives. We have families and jobs and, you know, friends and hobbies. And it's hard for people to sit down and say, okay, I'll write you a check for a couple $100, you know, right off the bat. And, you know, our basic membership's $10 per month.
$10 a month.
So if you do that for 2 years without even knowing it, and $10 a month is, you know, a cup of coffee, you know, and without even knowing it, you know, you've now given a couple $100 to a political organization that's going to help get the right people elected. You know, I think it's the most effective $10 you're going to spend all month. There's a lot of reasons to join and be a part of Orange County Gun Owners. But that's kind of like I said, like a nuts and bolts, like, you know, practical reason.
That's a great conversation to have with folks and they're like, well, what do I get for my $10? Well, you get the fact that you have people fighting for your rights. You know, you take the drip of water in a bucket. One drop doesn't mean a whole lot, but you add a lot of those drops of water, pretty much you've got a full bucket. And that's what we really look for in our membership is if you want to be involved, we'll take your time all darn day. But it also takes the dollar to kind of get out there and to help some of these cases that are up against whatever court that we're going against. And that is the political action portion behind this, not just getting the candidates in there and vetting those folks out, but the money is required to be able to push our agenda, and that agenda is to get those rights back. So to your point, Mike, yeah.
And that's what, Steve, on that point with all the legal action and everything, that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize goes on
Oh, my goodness.
on the backside, because you have all these court cases going on. And that was something when I started, I didn't realize how much of a fight they were up against. And so having those funds to fight those legal battles and having the lawyers and joining with other groups to help you know, win those cases, it helps. And that's what people don't realize overall, that this is a constant fight to get that out. So
a lot of money.
Yes.
A lot of money. Well, guys, this has been a great conversation. Appreciate your time coming out. Now we're in the sunshine. We probably want to put a hat on, put our sunglasses on, and kind of go enjoy the show. But Heather, thank you for being here today. It's been awesome. I love what you're doing. Let's partner and make this thing grow. Mike, thanks for entrusting me to kind of help you kind of grow this thing in Orange County, and look forward to seeing where it's going to go.
Thank you guys. With leadership like you guys, I think we're going to meet every goal and exceed.
Exceed. Heather, let's
Thank
go.
you.
Awesome.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Perfect.
Thank you.